Dreamers, and as you can tell, I'm at work. I'm at school. This is an emergency. We need to do an emergency Locked On MLB. Why? Because Aaron Judge is sticking around. I just knocked this desk a couple of times. It's an unstable version of Locked On MLB that we're going to go into right around now.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Don't believe me? Look at that. There's my lower third. You can call me Sully. This is being dropped on the 7th day of December, 2022, a day that will live, well, in not infamy, it will be beloved by Yankee fans. And we are doing this emergency live stream on a day where I already had a podcast already launched with Paul Holden from Locked On Rockies. A really nice conversation with him. But no offense, Paul, this is bigger news than anything the Rockies are doing right now. Follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter and on Instagram. Thanks so much for making us your first listen, as we're available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On MLB, or check out some of the other great shows of the Locked On Podcast Network, including Locked On Yankees with Stacey Gotsulia. So I guarantee you she is having a fun day today. You can follow me. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. You know what? It makes sense. The Yankees and Aaron Judge came up with a 9-year agreement. Is 9 years a lot of years? Yeah. Is it for a lot of money? You bet. But it makes sense for both sides. And we're going to get into this for a little bit. I have to admit, there were a few days in the last week that I thought, like, he's not coming back, is he? He's going to sign with the Giants, isn't he? And I if you ask me this, and I think I even said this on a show, and I started calling him Robinson Cano 2.0, I actually thought he was going to sign with San Francisco for a couple of days. And then as I'm on my way to school today, knowing, all right, I can relax a little bit, got a good episode with Paul Holden from Locked On Rockies already up, and here we go. I saw that my dear friend Michelle Chula, who I've known since college, who is a crazy, huge Yankee fan, basically was posting tweets that would only make sense if one of three things happened. She won the lottery, she won the Nobel Prize, or Aaron Judge re-signed with the Yankees. And it turned out to be, well, I can confirm number three. I'm going to have to ask Michelle about the other two. So it looked like a couple of weird things that happened. That Time magazine story came out where it was showing that Aaron Judge wasn't too happy that the amount of money that was offered and rejected by Judge in spring training was leaked to the public, therefore creating the whole Aaron Judge is greedy thing. And you started seeing some, how do we call this? You know, I've been called biased by some people. I'm not sure what I'm biased towards that's disrupting my ability to do a good podcast. If you have any idea of what biases I have that are preventing me from being a decent podcaster, please send it to me via Twitter at Sully Baseball. I'll try to work on it. You're going to hear me, a lifelong, someone grew up a huge Red Sox fan, native New Englander, classic Yankee hater. I'm going to be praising the Yankees a little bit today, which means I am biased and I have my, I'm not impartial, but I also am going to be objective. And when a team like the Yankees does the right thing, I'm going to praise them for doing the right thing. And re-signing Aaron Judge is the definition of a no-brainer. Absolutely. Aaron Judge was their offense. They won 99 games, and number 99 was the reason. Okay? When they went on a huge slump after the All-Star break, Aaron Judge kept producing. That slump would have been catastrophic without him. Did he have a great postseason? No, but even without a great postseason, he still hit a couple of big home runs. Nobody got big hits in the series against Houston. It was a clean sweep. But they don't win that series against Cleveland without some of the big hits that Aaron Judge got along the way. And they're not there without him. He won the MVP in a league where Shohei Ohtani is an excellent hitter and an excellent pitcher. It takes someone having a historic season to wrestle the MVP away from Shohei Ohtani. That's exactly what Aaron Judge did. Does solid defense, tremendous power hitter, leads the league left and right, and, let's face it, also has a very high baseball IQ. And he's a homegrown Yankee. And he's some cool traditions around him with, the people dressed up as the judges and all rise and everything. That's fun. Remember fun? And he showed up just as the last remnants of the core had been swept away. He made his first appearance just after Jeter and Pettit and Rivera and Posada and Tino Martinez and all of them were gone. So in comes this new guy with a new number. Number 99 was available. And he gets to carry the club. And he's going to be here a while. Now, the Yankees also re-signed Brian Cashman. So both Cashman and Judge return. If I'm a Yankee fan, I don't trust Cashman anymore. But this strikes me as a Hal Steinbrenner move. And here we go. They did the right thing. They cannot afford to not go through with this deal and not have Judge there for the next bunch of years. And conversely, Aaron Judge, in his own way, couldn't afford to leave the Yankees. I'm not going to compare Judge too much to Pablo Sandoval because Judge is such a better player than Pablo Sandoval ever was. That being said, when Sandoval left the Giants to go to Boston, there was no goodwill in the bank left when he arrived in Boston because he hadn't won all those championships in San Francisco. And even if Sandoval had slumped or not played very well over the next couple of years with the Giants, there would have been so much goodwill in the bank for the ways he contributed to the World Series titles, especially 2012 when he was the World Series MVP. When you have that goodwill in the bank, you can afford a slide. You can afford fading out because people remember all the good times. With Aaron Judge is not as young as you think he is. Aaron Judge is going to be, how old is he right as of this recording? He's going to be 31 years old in late April, which again, I would love to be 31 again, but it's not a young man in terms of baseball. I am at school. But the fact of the matter is that Judge, if he went to another team and didn't produce the way he did in New York and is there for the next 9 years, and if he went to San Francisco, I think that would have been Panda 2.0, except the Giants would be getting what the Red Sox got. Judge playing in a pitcher's ballpark, in a pitcher's division, yeah, he'll be, we're not going to be, it's actually, that's not as big a deal. I keep forgetting they're doing the schedule a little more balanced next year, but the majority of his games will be played in what is not a very good pitcher's ballpark, which is Oracle Park in San Francisco. And a lot of those balls, which would be flying into the upper deck of Yankee Stadium, would be caught at the warning track. And he doesn't have year in and year out of great production in San Francisco like he already does in New York. And it was Judge, there was a lot. Remember when Jeter and Rivera retired, and I think their retirement ceremonies just ended. There was a lot of talk about what's going to happen to this franchise. And there were some lean, for Yankee fans, lean times. Some years where they didn't make the postseason. They didn't make the postseason in 2013, 2014, or 2016. That's 3 out of 4 years. There was no playoff games played in Yankee Stadium. And 2016, the Yankees missed the playoffs, and the Mets and the Red Sox made the playoffs. Wasn't fun to be a Yankee fan then. And Aaron Judge showed up and turned things around. Aaron Judge showed up, and suddenly the Yankees started playing like contenders again. Aaron Judge showed up, and they got to within a game of the World Series. And Yankee fans all of a sudden started seeing what the future of Yankeedom was like. And it was Aaron Judge. And that was a lot of goodwill in the bank from the fans because they were looking at a long, dark decade. And Judge said, nope, we're going to be good again. And we're going to be good before you know it. And that positive sense in the bank is something that happened in New York and would not have been there in San Francisco. And so it made sense for Judge too. And by the way, I've made this point before, but we have to remember to not always talk about things in the frame of an owner. Yes, Judge's contract is going to go on for 9 years. And I all but guarantee you that at the end of Judge's career, he won't be the same player that he is now. He won't be putting up elite numbers at the end of the contract, but he'll still be paid as if he is an elite player. That being said, that doesn't mean that those are bad. Oh, God, he's being paid. He's being overpaid. What a waste of money. Wrong. Because, lest we forget, he was the runner-up of the MVP in 2017 when he won the Rookie of the Year, hit 52 home runs, and led the league in walks. Do you know what he was paid that year? Putting up MVP numbers? He was paid $544,000. Yes, I would take that money, and so would you, but he didn't make $1 million a year until 2020. And in that time, he put up all-star years in 2020, 2017, 2018, and put up some big numbers in 2019 and got them to the League Championship Series. So 3 years at the end of the contract could be used to pay for those years where he was underpaid. It evens out. And it's a surefire bet that everyone who's complaining about that will forget that he was underpaid putting up MVP numbers. If you're going to make any bets, go to BetOnline, which is your number one spot for all your betting info. And if you're going to be into sports podcasts, you want to get the latest props, odds, scores, check them out there. Whether you're doing it for basketball, hockey, World Cup, esports, or anything like that, check them out at betonline.net. BetOnline, that's where the game starts. All right, we're quickly going to do a couple other things here, but it was a no-brainer. The Yankees couldn't afford to do that now, and you know it may be better off for the Giants to mix those to go around the diamond with that money they were going to spend. They picked up Mitch Haniger, signed a couple of more players. There have been some other signings that are worth noting. I love the fact that the Guardians signed Josh Bell. The Guardians need another hitter. They signed Josh Bell. Josh Bell's a decent player. Is he great? No, but he's decent. And you get him in there, and then we'll see what happens. The Rangers signed Andrew Heaney to a 2-year deal. Now, that's not a huge deal, but the fact of the matter is they had picked up DeGrom. They've picked up Heaney. They brought in Bruce Bochy. They've signed. They're in on some other maybe Rodon. They're trying to at least patch together a pitching staff. By the way, evidently the Padres also offered Aaron Judge a giant contract. I love that. They knew he wasn't going to sign with the Padres, but why not throw that out there? Jose Quintana, who had a nice year splitting between the Pirates and St. Louis, has signed with the Mets. So the Mets have brought in a couple of good pitchers, hoping to make up for the loss of Jacob deGrom. The Cardinals signed Wilson Contreras to a 5-year deal. I really like this move for the Cardinals. You lost Yadier Molina, who retired, but you're bringing in an all-star caliber catcher, and the Cardinals are going to be, I think, going to be a very good team next year. And the Cardinals are very good at moving on. The Cardinals are very good at momentum and to say, hey, look at this era is over, but we're going to pick right up and get you something new. And I have no doubt that the Cardinals are going to be a contending team from here on out. A couple of the moves that are worth bringing up. Taijuan Walker is going to sign with the Philadelphia Phillies. It's strange. The Phillies I find it very interesting what the Phillies are doing. And the Phillies seem to be sort of hell-bent to take players from all around the National League East and put them like a Lego set into a team that will frustrate a bunch of fan bases, whether it's JT Realmuto or Zach Wheeler or Taijuan Walker or Trey Turner or Bryce Harper. These are all players who have had success for other teams in that division so that they can go to the World Series and make teams just sort of grind their teeth going, it was on our team. We had Kyle Schwarber. All those teams can sort of look and say that the Phillies are just trying to create a gigantic middle finger to the rest of the National League East. And I find that to be funny. It almost seems borderline deliberate. But Taijuan Walker, again, you bring in Taijuan Walker and you bring in Trey Turner to a team that went to the World Series last year. You know what? There's no argument for me. I think those are all good moves. And I think that you're seeing what Dave Dombrowski does best, which is he goes for it immediately. Jameson Taillon has left the Yankees and he's joining the Cubs. I don't know what to make of that deal for this reason. I don't mind the Cubs spending money and everything like that. Taillon, who's again, he had a nice year this year with the Yankees, and he, 2017, 2018, he pitched well for Pittsburgh. He was hurt for almost all of 2019. He didn't play 2020. I can't remember if that was because of Tommy John surgery or because of COVID. He came back with the Yankees, had a decent half season or decent season in 2021. Not great. Had a good season this year with the Yankees. He is a pitcher with injury issues in his 30s, and I don't see the Cubs, frankly, being that close, signing him to a 4-year deal. I like teams spending money. I like teams trying to improve themselves. I just don't. I get why Taillon signed. He's had 3 good years, and he signed a 4-year deal. Heck, an injury-prone pitcher signing a 4-year contract. Yeah, you take that. I don't quite get what the Cubs are doing with that, but maybe they think the division is vulnerable. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know what the Cubs are right now. Adam Scott Bristol, by the way, regular listener and follower here. What do you have to say, Adam? Feels like a very brisk pace of free agent signing this year compared to recent years, pre-lockout notwithstanding. Yeah, I agree, and I love it. Get them all going. Have it be fast paced. I want all the big players off. I wonder, Adam, I wonder about this for a second, and maybe there is a connection. Maybe when you consider the fact that we know we're going to have labor peace for the next bunch of years, there is no sort of lockout or labor unrest hanging over anything. I wonder if that confidence, knowing that the game's going to be, there's not going to be any work stoppages or anything for the next bunch of years, is allowing teams to want to spend more faster. Remember, we saw in 2019, you saw there was big free agents like, Machado and Bryce Harper were still available come spring training. And I think now you're starting to see teams saying, okay, we know we're here. We know we got a full season next year. Let's get our big start. Let's make our big signings maybe before Christmas time. Maybe people will be giving out, spring, season tickets for Christmas, or get some memorabilia, or you get some, souvenirs or some merch, some swag. What word am I looking for? I don't know. To be able to make the, for Christmas time. This is a huge relief for the Yankees and for their team. There's a question that was asked on I think it was on MLB.com. It said, does this make the Yankees better than they were last year? The answer is no, but what it doesn't do, it doesn't make them worse. If you take Aaron Judge out of the Yankees, that's a Jenga piece that they may not be able to recover from. At least you're starting with Judge there. Rizzo is going to be back. That Stanton, you're going to get what you can from Stanton. The Yankees' offense without Judge is bad. With Judge, it's okay. So now you haven't lost Judge. You haven't had the cataclysmic collapse of the pulling out the wrong Jenga block. Great. Now you can start improving the team. And if you're the Yankees, you have to find pitching depth. You have to find at least one good starter, at least one good reliever, and one good bat. That's critical. You do those three things. You have to get a good hitter. Well, you need a shortstop, and there's shortstops available right now. And it's insane that we're going to have the second straight year with all-star shortstops available, and all you need is a check. And the Yankees may whiff on it again. Trey Turner would have been perfect as a Yankee. Then I thought Corey Seager would have been perfect as well. Guess what? Carlos Correa is still out there. Xander Bogaerts still out there. Dansby Swanson still out there. All of them available. All of them would be great additions to the New York Yankees. Now you have the Judge thing answered. So now you can go on. Got another thing. What did Adam Scott Bristol say? He said it's Judge says it's the Red Queen from Alice in Wonderland. Run as fast as you can and to stay in the same place. Well, you know what? I think that's fair, but I think both sides needed to do this. The Red Sox evidently are making some headway to bringing Xander Bogaerts back. There's no excuse to let Xander Bogaerts go. I don't care if Trevor Story is in the fold or not. Fact of the matter is this. Xander Bogaerts should be a Red Sox for life. And I don't want to list Xander Bogaerts along with Carlton Fisk and Wade Boggs and Louis Tiant and Mo Vaughn and Mookie Betts as people and John Lester as people who should have been Red Sox for the rest of their careers. I know Louis Tiant started with another team. Leave me alone. Dwight Evans had to end his career as an Oriole. What's up with the Red Sox not realizing what they have sometimes? Xander Bogaerts is a homegrown, tremendous shortstop who's a big part of 2 World Series title teams. Yes, Astros fans, the second World Series title has a bit of a cloud over it, but he was part of the 2013 team. So there you go. The Red Sox better sign him. Why not? What's the deal with not signing him? Is he not good enough? Well, the Red Sox don't have enough money? The Red Sox can print money. And the Red Sox are one of those people who look at other people's free agents and, oh, look at that, and they don't look at their own players. Fans are more attached to their own players, the players who came up through their system. Yankee fans will love Aaron Judge more than they love any superstar that they import. That's why they were so obsessed. Uh-oh, did I get it? Was there a glitch here? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. There may have been a glitch, not going to know for sure. Red Sox are swimming in money. Their money has money. So sign Xander Bogaerts. It's not that difficult. They signed Kenley Jansen. I'm not a fan of Kenley Jansen. I know he's had a long career. I know he's been a good player. I've watched way too many Dodger games where he's blown big leads. I've seen way too many games where he's just coughed this up or that up. Think of how many huge Dodger losses in the postseason the last bunch of years featured Kenley Jansen on the mound. Again, fine career and everything like that. Some years he has unbelievable stats. And then you look up and he's the one walking off the mound with a hangdog look on his face. If he didn't blow the save in Game 2 of the 2017 World Series, the Dodgers would be up 2-0. And chances are they win at least one game in Houston and one game at home, and we never have to worry about the Astros and trash cans. Kenley Jansen. And I just know he's going to go to Boston and break down. You know it. I know it. He's going to blow some big games, and they're going to hate him. You know what? I think closers can be created. I'd rather, look at it. I mean, I would rather see a team like the Red Sox sign a okay starting pitcher and say something like, let's turn you into a closer. Let's, hey, I hear, Chris Archer or Mike Foltynewicz is faltering. Let's try him as a closer. I don't know. I don't know the answer. Adam Scott Bristol says Volpe could be in the majors in 2023, not out of the question. Sure, it's not out of the question. Yankees have Volpe getting closer to big. They won't sign a big free agent to a deal. Why not? Sorry, I'm not buying it. Their prospect is a prospect until they're a major leaguer. Yeah, they could come up. Volpe could be great. Volpe could be Jeremy Pena 2.0. Jeremy Pena fit right in when Carlos Correa skedaddled, and he was fantastic. How often does that happen? How often does the rookie come in and fit right in? How many times have there been hyped up Yankee prospects? Look at, you have a chance to bring in a Carlos Correa now, and you don't do it? I'm sorry. Volpe could be great. He could be fantastic. He could be Didi Gregorius. He could be, Gleyber Torres. How many of these infielders have we seen go through the Yankees in the last couple of years? Like a revolving door. He could be Bobby Meacham. I don't know. Neither do you. There's been lots of times when the Juris and Profars of the world look like they're no doubt about it going to be great superstars. It doesn't quite work out. But you know what you're getting if you bring in Xander Bogaerts or Dansby Swanson or Carlos Correa. So, yeah, Volpe could be the next big star, and I could have egg on my face. I don't think I will. I think you have a chance to do that if you're the Yankees. And if you have 2 straight years where you don't do that, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. But one thing I do know is I had to do this podcast because I couldn't just let this go. I'm probably not going to do – there's probably not going to be a podcast dropped on Thursday, but there will be one dropped on Friday morning unless, I don't know, Xander Bogaerts signs with the Brewers or something crazy like that. But, hey, thanks so much for making this your first listen. And check out Locked On Sports Today, where they give all the great stories and all the great events and some of the great local coverage that only Locked On hosts can give you. Oh, hold on. Adam Scott Bristol is saying I'm talking like Steinbrenner in 1993. That's right. That's right. He wanted to trade away Jeter, and there you go. Not the Stick Michaels of the same era. How many times do prospects work out, and how many times do they not? How many times do they swing and miss? All right? How many times have we seen Yankee prospects hyped up to the nth degree in the last bunch of years? And how many times do you have a sure thing? Don't make me sound like I'm trying to trade Derek Jeter for Brian Harvey there, Adam Scott Bristol. Don't you end this podcast with me getting mad at you. If you have something nice to say to me, send it to me at Sully Baseball on Twitter. If you have something mean to say to me, send it to Adam Scott Bristol. You know I love you, Adam. All right. Follow us at Locked On MLB Pods on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Having it out with Adam Scott Bristol, who thinks I'm being a hothead. Well, you're fired. I'm bringing in Stump Merrill. This has been Locked On MLB, the emergency December 7th issue. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan, the enemy of Adam Scott Bristol, and you can call me Sully.